In 2026, I'm really locking in on my health, which is kind of hard when you have a chronic illness because there's so much you can't control, but I've really learned to focus on the things that I can control. So I'm going to take you through my wellness habits and routines that help me feel my best, navigate the ups and downs of my health, and stay positive and productive. Sometimes I struggle with going through a period of time when I feel really great and then sort of forgetting how bad it can get. Maybe that's bad to say, but I sort of forget how bad it can get, and then when it does get bad, I spend so much time stuck in that and spiraling a bit about, well, now I've developed all these different habits and I've put in so much effort and work to develop those habits, and now I can't do those things. I can't go to the gym or work out in the same way or do whatever it is that I was doing. And I still have normal goals. I want to feel my best, look my best, get strong, build muscle, be healthy, do all the things. But when I have so many restrictions inherently in my life, it can be really challenging. Like, I can't just listen to what everyone on social media is saying is good for you to do, because, for example, with the sauna, I know if I go in a regular sauna, it absolutely flares up so many of my symptoms, but I can go in an infrared sauna and I just have to have it at a very specific temperature and for a very specific amount of time. But that has taken time for me to learn. So I'm going to take you through my wellness habits and routines that help me feel my best, navigate the ups and downs of my health, and stay positive and productive. And I hope this video inspires you, so let's get into it. I'm pretty sure you've been able to see my chia seed pudding that is currently soaking for my breakfast, so please ignore that. I always wake up really early for work because some days I have really early meetings, and I also just have a morning routine that I know makes me feel my best. But I know that I need a lot of sleep, and sleep is one of the most important and impactful thing in how I feel every day. Like, I notice that if I get a good amount of sleep, I can feel great. I mean, some days I also still don't feel great, but if I don't get good enough sleep, like, I know I'm not going to feel good. And so since I want to wake up early and need to wake up early, that means I have to go to bed early, very early. And I've just learned over time that I'm not going to be embarrassed about going to bed early. Like that, honestly, it's a flex.
Wow, so yummy. I'm currently on my walk. I go for a walk every single day in the morning because honestly, it's one of the things that I notice makes the biggest difference in how I feel in the day. Like, if I don't do it, then I just feel stiff and my muscles tend to hurt and cramp and I'm just in pain. Also, one of my big health goals that I really like to stick to, because I know it's really realistic for me no matter how I'm feeling, is getting 10,000 steps a day. So it just starts me off on a good foot so that I don't really have to worry about it when I get into work, because once I get into work, I just work. Besides walking and getting movement, the one thing that I notice makes the biggest difference in how I feel every single day is sleep and getting enough sleep. And I know for me, a lot of times I need to get more than 10 hours of sleep. And so in order to do that, I have to go to bed very early. I actually love early mornings. Yesterday, it was quite hot in the morning and I was wearing a jacket and I ended up having to take it off. So today I didn't wear a jacket, as you can see. And I'm not cold, but the thing is, when the air is cold, my skin just reacts so weirdly to it. Maybe it's another MCAS thing, but my skin, I'll often get hives after I walk, and my hands will actually get so stiff to the point where my joints hurt and I can't type on my phone or really do anything. So my hands are definitely starting to hurt. I really should know better by now that I need to at least have a layer to cover my arms and my hands in, even if it's not full. All of these things that I do for myself every day, especially the walking, is just about building habits, and ultimately habits have to do with your brain. And so I try and clock myself every time I'm thinking negatively about not wanting to do something, because then I'm just perpetuating the negative thought patterns around doing something. Like, if I constantly think, oh, I hate going to the gym, I don't want to go to the gym, I don't want to work out, then I'm just perpetuating negativity around my habit of thinking about the habit of going to the gym. I think a lot of people struggle with building habits because of discipline, but discipline is just a skill that anyone can build. And I actually think real discipline isn't always about whether or not you do something. And when you have a chronic illness, it can be hard because there's much more variability on how you'll feel day to day, and then that determines what you're able to do. Like, I may think, oh, tomorrow I'm planning to go to the gym, and then I might wake up and not feel good, or I might even wake up in the morning and think, great, I'm going to go to the gym today, and right before I go to the gym, I suddenly have a flare-up or I suddenly have symptoms. I believe real discipline is about truly knowing when you have resistance against something because you don't want to do it and you're being lazy, even though I don't really like that term, but that you don't want to do something versus not wanting to do it and deciding not to do it because you know that that is what's best for your health. I started doing a limbic system retraining program a couple of months ago, and if you don't know what that is, I'll put a little sentence description on screen of what it is. But the one that I did specifically is for people with chronic illnesses, and it's sort of around the idea that a lot of symptoms are caused or worsened by an overactive stress response, and the idea that your brain is perpetuating that. And I did a whole video answering questions about it, which I'll link below, and I'll also put a card somewhere at the top of the screen that you'll be able to click. If you're interested, definitely go and watch that after this video. But the program that I did was really great because not only did it do the brain retraining, which is what most programs solely do, but it also had a lot of nervous system regulation techniques. So I've been trying to incorporate those into my everyday routine, not only at specific times in my daily routine, but also just anytime I feel that sense of stress, whether it's mentally or physically. The program had quite a strong narrative around the fact that techniques and tools can like heal your chronic illness and get rid of it, and if you don't believe that, then you're probably just thinking wrong. And I personally don't believe that, and so it was hard to figure out where those things can be true because there is some science to back it up, and I want to believe those things. And it was hard for me to figure out where those things can be true and also align with what I feel my reality is. And I think I've come to the conclusion that if you do these things and you regulate your nervous system more, if your body and your nervous system is in a more relaxed state, then you'll have more of a capacity to handle symptoms both mentally and physically, and also potentially less reactive to triggers. So that is why I'm doing it, and I'm also just open to just improving my life and my perception of my life in general.
I'm about to go to the gym right now. I took a year off working out because I realized that the high intensity interval training workouts I was doing was putting a lot of stress on my body, but I really wanted to get back into weight training, and at first I noticed that my nervous system was so dysregulated. I would be so shaky afterwards and feel terrible, and it took about 9 months to get back into it. And I had a personal trainer while I was in Miami that I honestly don't think I would be where I am right now if it wasn't for him. But I'm also a certified personal trainer, so I already have a lot of the knowledge, but just having someone to like be there and to tell me what to do so I could focus a lot on myself and my body was so helpful. And now I just make sure that I'm really focusing on my breath, because your breath is what keeps you grounded and tells your nervous system that you're safe. So I have a 2-day workout split. Let me know if you want a more in-depth video on my workouts and what I do and all of that, but I have a 2-day split because I try to work out every other day, so that usually means I'm getting between 3 and 4 workouts a week. But at a minimum, if I just get 2 gym workouts in, then I'm hitting all the different muscle groups, so it works really well for me. But yesterday I actually was driving to the gym and I was just feeling quite shaky, so I ended up just turning around and going home. So working out today. Despite the fact that I have a lot of work to do and I definitely was feeling like I could just sit there, oh, I won't go to the gym, I'll just sit and finish my work. No, I'm going to the gym. I'm very restricted when it comes to food. I mean, I can only eat the 8 foods that I can eat right now. So I basically eat the exact same 3 meals every day, and I don't really have much flexibility in terms of what I can eat. But as I mentioned earlier, sorry, it's kind of loud. I still have like regular people goals. Like I said, I wanted to build muscle and all of that. And you know, when you're looking at building muscle, obviously you need to eat more protein, but I think it can be hard, especially seeing all the narratives online of people saying, if you're not having this amount of protein, then you're not going to build muscle, if you're not eating these sources of protein. And I've realized that in order to not let the things that I don't have control over drag me down out of the things that I do have to control over, I really have to separate those things and realize that I can achieve my goals as much as I can, like going to the gym and lifting weights and lifting as much as I can and doing the exercise I can, eating as much protein as I can out of the foods that I can eat, and just not stressing too much over what I can't control and over the fact that I can't maybe do something that might be more effective that I just can't do because of my health. And also letting go of the fact that I'm not going to be able to achieve my goals in the same way that other people might, and honestly just being okay with that. Sometimes I start thinking about really deep things at night and then I can't sleep because I'm thinking about these complex topics. But I was just thinking about how wellness culture has really co-opted a lot of the chronic illness language and framing, and it's turned lifestyle factors like sleep, inflammation, stress, and turn them into chronic illnesses that need fixing. And it trivializes actual chronic illnesses because it means that everybody who feels bloated or thinks that they have a lot of inflammation, it makes people think that they have like MCAS or chronic inflammation or an autoimmune disease. And people think that just because they have bloating every once in a while, or they sometimes feel like they have trouble sleeping, or whatever the thing is, or they feel like they have really low energy. And it dilutes what it means to have an actual chronic illness that can't just be lifestyle hacked away. Because yes, it has become normal in society to not get enough sleep and to eat unhealthy foods that do cause those things. And it makes it seem like if you do actually have a chronic illness, that if you just tried harder or tried hard enough or did XYZ wellness thing, that you could biohack away your chronic illness, which is not the case. And then when you do try those wellness things, whether it's holistic practices or things like EFT or brain retraining or using infrared sauna, lymphatic massage, whatever the things are, and they do work and they give you benefits, then it sort of gives people proof that the medicine never worked and that it was never a chronic illness in the first place, when in reality, those things are just helping and not actually curing it. Because when you have a chronic illness, you can't just cure it and you can't just get rid of it by doing lifestyle changes. And it's taken me a really long time to find places where wellness practices do fit into my life and come to my own terms and understanding of them. Even now, when I go to the spa place that I go to go to the infrared sauna, they'll often be like, oh, you should try cryotherapy, or you should try hyperbaric oxygen chamber. It's amazing for this, this, and this. And I know this is something I've had to learn over time, that is not good for me. That'll make me worse. And people just don't really understand that. And I've had to come to terms with that and just really learning that this is my own journey and I don't need other people to understand it. I just need to focus on doing what's best for me. And I'm the only person that needs to validate that. I just finished reading this book. Sorry if it's a bit out of focus. Kiss the Girl. It is one of the books in the Meant to Be series, and I love this series. What's happening? I just got the new book, Tangled Up in You, another one in the series. Was a 5-star read for me. Absolutely my first 5-star read of the year. I just started Heartbreak Hotel, so I don't know how it is yet, but I can definitely keep you updated. I'll update on my Instagram story as well. Such a good series. Last night I stayed up for an extra hour finishing it because it is that good. I forgot to end this video, but I just want to say that ultimately all of these things have helped me feel the best about my life, even when my health has been at its worst. There is so much with my health that I can't control, and it constantly feels like I don't have control over the things that I want to work towards, like being able to eat more foods, having less symptoms. But these things that I can do every single day for myself, whether it's going for walks, eating balanced meals, going to the infrared sauna and doing these wellness practices, meditating, whatever it is, help me feel like there's something that I'm actively working towards, that I have control over every single day, no matter how I'm feeling. And I always like to think about what Isaac Newton said, objects in motion stay in motion. So wake up and start your day with movement. Even just get going, get out of bed and start your day. And just doing something can truly change your life. So what are you waiting for?